guys, Jake here, and today I want to talk about a phenomenon that I've wanted to make a video about for almost 2 years now, and that is the idea that gamers in particular tend to dislike or disrespect racing games. And by gamers, I tend to mean people who just like video games and sort of keep up with the news of video games, follow some upcoming releases, look at what's coming up, etc. And I'm sure you've probably watched reactions of E3, Gamescom, different game publisher, keynotes, conventions, presentations, etc. And in many of these reactions, you get reactions to racing games such as...
Card game. Like sports games, haven't really changed much.
Cars.
Horizon is known for
Yes,
fun,
come on.
Oh, for
freedom,
fuck's sake,
and
no. Hopefully we'll get to see by
beauty.
the end of the stream
And
what
using our
Fable has in
unique
store for us.
HDR
More Fable now, please.
And Forza's good, but it's fucking Forza!
and are left wondering about the disregard for racing games in specific. So I started to think about sales numbers. Racing games like Need for Speed and Gran Turismo have actually sold very well. And Gran Turismo was probably the most technologically innovative franchise to come out of Sony and the PlayStation brand. So when these games have such high sales numbers, why do a lot of people who, like video games tend to really not give racing games that great of a judgment, or seem to not care at all? And this is where I think things divide into three main groups. Your first group are the more casual gamers. Say you get a PS4 for Christmas. What are 3 different games of, different varieties that people would like? Say maybe a shooter, action adventure, and racing. Racing games like Need for Speed and Gran Turismo I think are very popular among the casual market. And I think racing games are known to be fun to most people, even if they may not be very good at Gran Turismo Sport. The second group I would call the core gamers. The people who are usually very into video games in general. There are some franchises in the circle of gaming discussion, like F-Zero, that are very, very popular and people are very loud about wanting to make it come back. But yet the games never really sold all that well. I think for people who are into video games, but not specifically racing games or maybe cars, I think racing games need a very specific hook, which is why franchises like Burnout or even Wreckfest and Flatout are popular among core gamers, if you want to call them that. Notice if you go to a comment section on pretty much anything about Need for Speed, half the comments are talking about Burnout. If you want to see discussion about Need for Speed, you have to go to Need for Speed subreddit. And this is where I want to introduce the third group, racing game fans. People like me, people like you probably watching the video, and now of course this doesn't mean there isn't anyone in that core gaming audience. There are even some YouTubers who tend to quite like racing games such as Spawnwave, Metal Jesus Rocks, and of course John Linneman from Digital Foundry. But that's just my own observation, is that things tend to be divided into these 3 groups. And to summarize, I simply think it's because to casual players, racing games and car driving is seen as something fun. The core gamers, racing games are seen as more of a sports game. They don't really do much unique, and if you like cars, you like them. But that there's a unique twist such as anti-gravity, car crashes, destruction, then it's more enticing. And to us racing game fans, a lot of things with a car on it, even if it's pretty bad or stupid, mediocre, all kinds of racing games tend to usually appeal to us more. I'm not trying to say that we'll all go play Monster Jam Crush It, but what are ones that typically tend to know about games like that? And it's also typically racing game fans and casual players that tend to be into games like Need for Speed. Look at how I said how Burnout is more popular with the gaming crowd. Just go on a street somewhere, go ask someone, hey, do you know about a game franchise called Burnout? They'll probably tell you no. Ask them about Need for Speed, there's a much higher chance they'll know something. It's just a much, much more popular name. And while selling 2 or 3 million copies per game doesn't sound like that much compared to the peak 10 millions we used to see in Need for Speed series, 2 or 3 million is still so much bigger than plenty of other games I've seen that tend to get more discussion among core gamers, again if you want to call them that. In general, racing games seem to not be talked about as much when it comes to general gaming fans, and a lot of times even disrespected, as I can tell by watching a bunch of YouTube videos and even my own personal experience. I joined an Xbox Live party once in 2015, before Need for Speed 2015 was coming out. I was very much looking forward to the game, and the party was with my cousin and a few of his friends from some other games. I didn't know any of them, so I just tried to open up a conversation by saying, hey, is anyone else looking forward to the new Need for Speed coming out in like a month or 2? They immediately insulted me, and I was quickly annoyed and left the party, but that's just my own experience. I've also met a few people off of the game Overwatch, and after they found my YouTube channel, they proceeded to make fun of me for a long time for playing a lot of racing games. Not so much anymore, but it was pretty annoying. Anyways, this is more or less a anecdotal video, not really a one based on much facts or research, but I really just want to see if y'all have noticed the same things I have. Again, I want to talk about this topic for a long time, so I'm curious if y'all have anything to add in the comments section. Anyways, let me know if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later.